Max Verstappen charged from 10th on the grid and overcame a mid-race spin to win the Hungarian Grand Prix as an ill-fated Ferrari race strategy left Charles Leclerc 6th. A mistake on his first run and a power unit issue on his second left Verstappen unable to set a competitive Q3 time on Saturday, but he made swift progress in the early laps of the Grand Prix as he passed a slow-starting Valtteri Bottas, former and current Red Bull teammates Daniel Ricciardo and Sergio Perez, as well as the Alpine duo of Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon. This left him in 6th place behind his 2021 chief title rival Lewis Hamilton, who he undercut during his first pit stop to move into 5th. Red Bull called Verstappen in for an aggressive early second pit stop that triggered first-time poleman George Russell to pit the next lap, but the Mercedes driver came out behind Verstappen. Leclerc, who had overcome Russell for the race lead with a stunning move around the outside of Russell in the turn 1 braking zone on lap 31 of 70, also made his second pit stop, but Ferrari opted to fit the hard tires while Russell and Verstappen were on mediums. The team's decision to take the hard tires to Leclerc's car instead of extending his second stint until he could pit for softs proved to be a fatal error. It allowed Verstappen to easily catch Leclerc and pass him into turn 1, and he looked all set to race off into a comfortable lead before he spun at the penultimate hairpin. Verstappen rotated his RB18 around 360 degrees before getting back on track behind Leclerc. He was able to regroup, and he passed Leclerc again a few laps later on the exit of turn 1, using the greater traction of his mediums while Leclerc struggled on his cold hard tires. Leclerc's tumble continued as he was passed by Russell before his team conceded and called him in for a third pit stop for the soft tires. This dropped him out of the podium fight and into 6th place. That left Russell on his mediums trying to hold off Carlos Sainz and Hamilton, who both fitted softs during their second and final pit stops. Hamilton was the faster of the two and passed Sainz on the run down to turn 1 with 7 laps to go. This allowed Hamilton a run at his new teammate Russell, and he passed him 2 laps later into turn 2. It marks a second successive double podium finish for Mercedes, while Verstappen scooped his 8th victory of the year to extend his championship lead by a further 17 points. Sainz couldn't mount a serious challenge on Russell and instead had to settle for 4th place ahead of Perez, who had a steady drive to 5th place. Leclerc ended up 6th, unable to fire up his soft tires up enough to threaten the top 5. Lando Norris ran a quiet race to 7th place after McLaren's chief rival Alpine made the same mistake as Ferrari earlier in the race by fitting the hard tires to both of its cars at the first pit stops.